Hey guys, we are here with the Gulf Coast Growth Show virtual edition. I'm really excited today to have Roger Gossett here with us today. Roger has just a wealth of experience. I don't think we could have a better person to come on and talk about really how things are getting done and what things are going to look like kind of going forward when it comes to what's taking on behind the gates and the work that needs to be taking place. As always, our audience, our desire, our goal and mission here is to really bring education and information out from the petrochem Gulf Coast region and then out to our audience and really help people understand the importance and the magnitude of just what's taking place. And so amidst all the chaos, amidst all the disruption, there's some really great stuff happening. Roger's going to share some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So we're going to turn it over to you real quick, maybe take a brief introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, the company you're running today, and then we'll dive into some outlook stuff.
Sure. As you said, I'm Roger Gossett. You know, I've been here for 30 years in Texas. I started, well, first let's start. I was a product of the field. I worked for the largest construction company in the world and learned a lot of things, traveled a lot, and then got an opportunity to start a company in Orlando, Florida. A short period of time, we built that company up from nothing to about $15 million a year. This is back in the late 80s. So $15 million a year was some real money, and which landed me the opportunity to come to where I thought was the big leagues, Houston, Texas. So I said, well, let's go see if you got any game. So I came here in 1990. The company that hired me got acquired, became a public company. I ended up as the CEO. We grew that company to over $200 million. I left there. Jerry Brock was just too persuasive for me. I went to work for him. We built the Brock Group up into a nice company. I sold it in 2006, still a landmark sale of any kind of business in Houston. And it's just a good product and it was a good sell. But anyway, did 3 years with Austin Industrial. We doubled the size of it. Went to JV driver. We had mega projects in Canada. We started the U.S. operation. So basically my history is I come in, we grow companies. You know, our core values are do things the right way, take care of each other, continuously improve, and have fun.
All right. And sounds like a good place to work when people are working for you. That's a positive sign. So clearly you're qualified. Tell us about the company you're running now and the work that you guys are doing.
Well, I'd be remiss to not say it's pretty humbling to me that, you know, it's like I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, just watch, Roger Gossett will put the band back together. And so it's pretty humbling to me that from my Brock days, from my Austin days, from my JV driver days, I call them and they come. And so I get to put together a team of A players. And like I said, when you put a bunch of A players together like we have, and we have them, we have everything we need to grow our business, but it's humbling to me because that's number one. Assemble your A team, and it's the same people I've been working with for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Now, different segments, and you find where you have the needs to fill. But so we filled out our team. So I'm gonna get back to your question now, because I really do have the best people, and that's really what makes me.
I'm a big believer in that, and I would tell you, I think anybody would say that when you have a great team behind you, no doubt that it really is a game changer, especially if you can count on them to come in and repetitively do the same great things over and over again. So congratulations on that. It's a good sign of leadership. So now that you guys are together and you're getting the band back together, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Well, you know, we kind of first things first, this is a build and buy strategy. Obviously, we have some we have an acquisition on the line that we're very excited about. We have two operating companies right now, which one is Diamondback and the other was DiamondbackWorks. And they're in industrial field, but different fields, but they are complementary. Diamondback is more attuned to my history. And so one of the first things we did was, hey, let's get the right people on the bus. Let's get the right team in here. Two is, you know, we do things like we restructure, we put asset trackers on everything, we measure quantities, we pay incentives on every project, we pay the supervisors, you know, based on how well they do. It's not, you'll hear me say this over and over. We pay market with incentives. We want the best of the best.
Nice.
So we've had some guys. I've had some field guys make $50,000-$60,000 a year extra on incentives. So we just try to incentivize everything we can.
I love that.
And we smile while we write those checks.
Yeah, heck yeah. I will tell you, one thing I found is if you take care of your people, they'll follow you, they'll work hard for you, and they'll go the extra mile. And it's rewarding, especially when you use the word incentive. Because if I'm incentivized to do a better job, a lot of times I'm going to go put that extra work in, or make sure that we'll talk a lot about it later, but you guys have a great track record of really high level execution. You were sharing that with me a little bit earlier on, but that high level execution is a product of culture. So I think you're spot on right there. So talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing. I mean, clearly you, in your years, you've done a little bit of everything. Tell us about the world of today in the chemical and industrial sector. What are you seeing, and what do you think it's looking like over the next, 12 months?
Well, what we're seeing is, right now it's fear. I mean, everybody's, the virus is real, but it has been sensationalized.
Right.
We're quite capable of continuing to work, and we just got to incorporate the right distancing, the right tools, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. The industry is resilient. It looks like the United States is resilient. I see the chemical industry, it just needs a stable feedstock. It needs to know what the price is going to be. Mm-hmm. So that's getting there. And, the chemicals folks, I think you're going to see some real stimulus. We're going to probably emulate some things the Japanese are doing about bringing some companies home. I think you're going to see some stuff you're going to see a reduction in contractors. You can probably count that we're going to lose at least 20% of our competitors, and probably more.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's not geared for coming through something like this. We came in with our team, and we'll give all the credit to the team. In the first quarter, we made 10 times as much money as we made all last year. So, these guys know what to do, but the outlook is just keep hustling. It's going to be slow to open up, but we've got like a tremendous following of customers, and as they open up, they realize that we never closed. Now, our other company never slowed at all. Mm-hmm. It drills and pumps gas in landfills to the power plant. Okay. So that was deemed an essential business. But Diamondback never really shut down. It was just slowed down, if you will.
Right.
We use that time to talk to all the A players in the industry. Anybody that got furloughed has been through our doors. We've been talking to them. And as it starts to unopen, we're going to bring those guys on too, because this is a tremendous opportunity for us to fill out our roster with some of the best of the best. So now that's kind of the contractor standpoint. It's an interesting thing. People always ask me about this, and I said, it's really odd. If you look at my track record, every time there was a downturn, we grew our business. And always people say, why is that? And I said, well, I'm going to give you my Hot Springs, Arkansas logic and tell you that when things get real tough, people are willing to listen. When they're looking for solutions, they're willing to listen. So if you've got a strategy and the courage to follow it, people are willing to listen if it makes sense. And so I always said that we always had a great strategy, and all we needed was an opportunity. And every time there was a downturn, people were looking for better ways.
As we wrap up, is there anything that you want to say or anything that you felt like we didn't tackle that people need to hear from you before we tune out and close out the episode?
I think it's important. Our fourth core value, our third is continuously improve, but fourth is have fun. And people go, well, how do you do that? This is a real serious business. Where I said, look, when I'm on top of my business, whether I got 1,000 employees or 15,000, I've been at all these ends of the spectrum. A third of my time or half my time, I'm out there amongst them, talking to the plant folks, seeing the people, talking to them, talking to our people. Everybody used to make the joke, Roger's out there feeding them lunch about a third of the time. He's traveling all over the country feeding these guys lunches. Well, you'd be surprised what you can find out you have concerns and compliments meetings, you know, and you have people pre-selected. Everybody's nervous about you talking to them, and you know, you really walk away from there with some nuggets. But you know, I'll leave you with two things. I'm a cheerleader. I'm a coach. You know, I get things out of people's way so they can do their job. I'm a follow me kind of guy. But you can make it fun when you approach it with that, you know, instead of having a bunch of rigid things, you have core values. Do things the right way. Take care of each other. Continuously get better, improve, have fun. You know, we laugh, but you just gotta engage with your folks, with your people. And the message I got, you know, I was raising money on Wall Street one time, and they said, "You got a very improbable background for a CEO." I said, "Really?" I was a teacher and I was a coach. I got a secondary degree in essentially accounting and finance. I think I got the perfect background for being a CEO, teacher, coach. Understand the numbers. I can count. Don't have to take my shoes off. But you know, you know, really think about what I just said. I'm not a really complicated guy. Follow me, teach, coach, get things out of people's way. You know,
that's awesome. I think
trying to continuously improve. If you're trying to continuously improve, I teach a class to almost everybody we have. Everybody says, "Is that good use of your time?" It's great use of my time. Every new employee, I get to touch them. But our goal is to get 1/10 of 1% better every day. Everybody goes, "Well, I can do that." Well, you know what? If you do that, at the end of the year, you're 25% better. So if you're just looking for the little things, Jason, that's when you're going to stumble across an innovation. That's when you're going to find something and you'll be doing it. Somebody's going to come along and go, "Oh, look at that."
So specifically to this environment, and I think you just offered up some great wisdom for everybody who's probably a little just weathered and worn from the last few months. And then unlike most circumstances or issues, whether it was Harvey, whether it was a previous hurricane, even I remember a financial crisis in 2008, you know, those things, while there wasn't an outcome when you had a financial crisis, you knew based on historical trends, you had an up or a down, but it was going to be a certain way. But there was almost like a light at the end of the tunnel. I think right now, a lot of people are dealing with this. We've been in a long period of uncertainty and a lot of lack of clarity. So what you just described, which is culturally picking your head up and getting that 1/10 of 1% better every day. And the innovation and the ideas, really the opportunity that exists, and why I'm so proud of the network and the organizations and the winning spirit of our Gulf Coast region is just that. These are people who strap up the boots, get their heads down, and figure out and find a way. And you're a great example of that. And so hopefully somebody finds that inspirational day, lifts it up, listens to this, tunes into this episode, and takes some of that nuggets and goes spreads it out and takes it back to their team, to the culture inside their company. So, Roger, thank you so much for that today. It really has been a pleasure speaking with you. For our audience, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, the Gulf Coast Growth Show, we LinkedIn. You can go to the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region's website to download and or subscribe to any of our channels, the YouTube channel as well. So really there's a plethora of ways to stay connected. And then each and every week we're bringing on other professionals. We've got a lot of people lined up. Roger, you've been a blast today. Probably the perfect dynamic of field and leadership to really speak to. And hopefully this picks somebody up as they tune in. So tune in next week for our next episode. And we appreciate you guys today.